Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone who joined here for the Medicine Buddha practice and teachings. First, I would like to chant the mantras together with you, and then I will start giving commentaries on sadhana of Medicine Buddha, which is called the Essence of Nectar by the first Benchen Lama. Om Bekhanze, 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 Maha, Bekhanze, 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 Ranza Samungate So. Om Bekhanze, 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 Maha Bekhanze, 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 Ranza Samungate So. Om Bekhanze, 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 Maha Bekhanze, 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 Ranza Samungate Soha. Om Bekhanze, 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 Maha Bekhanze, 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 Ranza Samungate Soha. Om Bekhanze, 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 Maha Bekhanze, 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 Ranza Samungate Soha. Om Bekhanze, 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 Maha Bekhanze, Bekhanze, Ranza Samu Gade So. Om Bekhanze, 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 Maha Bekhanze, 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 Ranza Samu Gade So. Om Bekhanze, 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 Maha Bekhanze, 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 Ranza Samungate So. Dari Puri Pundanam and the Pevala Gasushuyo Tujichi Shayin Katari Tambot Sanji Meli Choa Dubati Matrigona. There's a Gomde Tungtunji Chigi, Migwa Chigi, or the Yabuji Sarona and Gomjorona Shayin. So this time we will do meditation on Medicine Buddha, visualization, and also healing and purification and protection. Okay, so I would like to ask you to sit comfortably on your meditation cushion, or those of you unable to sit on meditation cushion, you could sit on chair or you could sit on a bench, wherever you feel comfortable sitting, and please do so. And one important thing is you keep your spine straight, back straight, relax your body. And this position is called Nam Nang. Number Lu Nam Nang Chu Dun Din. Tibetan word Lu Nam Nang means Lu is Lupo is Zupo. Zupo means body, Namnang, number nang is Vairocana Buddha. So you keep your posture like the way Vairocana Buddha, Mahavairochana Buddha said. So Mahavairochana is one of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, and he is what we call in Tibetan Zupung, number Dakcha. So he is the perfect body of enlightened. His body is perfect enlightened body, and he's is the great example for posture and so on. So we keep our spine straight, sit comfortably. Now, also we have saying in Tibet, you sit like Marpa. Milarepa's guru, Marpa. Marpa's way of sitting is the best kind of sitting example. So basically the same posture of Vairocana. You sit and keep your spine straight. Kaya wuji shuro nang. So then the geba yero, geba de ya shangbo ji ya zujen shu. Le nam nang shue de karshu wesen zubu de jawa number nanze. Jawa ringa yorwa or Jawa ringa Jawa number nanzi Judan na yi jin yoro na so re. Then on the be kajuna beji as a chulu kajuna yor de ya marba lozo Judan jin yoro na marba lozo Judan de yaji huji manda yoda. But Kuba than Kuba san tanga de nala dua kora huji Judanji manda na do some da in the Dakarina to the watch to do Kusu Jablo di Kaisho, Giavadia, do Shangbojin, what to Jenny, Jurana. So you sit and relax in your body and mind. Keep your mind in the present moment and do not go to the past, do not go to the future because the past is gone, not here anymore, and future is not here yet. We don't know what the future would be like. For instance, we didn't know anything about the COVID-19 before December or even January 2020. And then suddenly all these things happening. Right? You don't know what sort of things happens in the future. Maybe lots of good things will happen and so on. We don't know future, so there's no point of thinking about future. And do not go to the future. Do not go to the past, and stay in the moment, present moment. Be here and now, and then so you relax your body, and also means resting your mind in the present moment and relax first. 다 누전에 lolo jishu. Ani da gomja ga kala ngadu chaji chimgunang gomja nang de sungdwa menjing losan chujing tanda chaji chimbo chi nang de semde lolo ji de semde tanda de nawa bembu ngang de la redo namdo rewada dobada namdo tnima nawa bembu ngang de la shi karshu bosan semde ne zuji ora de ki da karshu tobja goja chi 누진 된 지 traditional 지는 아직 지금인데 지금 means 야구 연구를 누구 연구를 했는데 상황마다 맞지 검열이 가는 톱자고 자지 남네 마셔봐 봐서는 지 니마시어서는 지 어디 톱자고 나와 뱀빙만 데라스 나와 스무는 나다죠 이주디 네베 like 마지와 쥐 마셔 되는 그 잼바 스무코라지네 베 스피드하고지 제주면 부부 충종이 섬나 이제 부부 충종도 섬나는 되지 지금 마음의 섬보다 가서 대외 섬보다 요마라 내가 그런 거라 다 점을 돼 맞으 생각해요 막 부부 충종으로 숨쉬 제 아전에로 근데 이제는 나무 빙빙하세 심혈을 진 제주면 남도면 또 부다고 정말 성경이 되버려서 나와 빙빙은 제주 so I'm saying in Tibetan, according to the first Panchen Lama Losang Chujijal's Mahamudra text, he says, you keep your mind in the present moment, haphazard, and without any sort of alteration of your mind, Do not alterate your mind. Don't expect anything, and do not worry. Do not have concerns, no concerns, and no expectation, no abandonment, and no acceptance. Stay your mind like a fresh mind, like a fresh rain, fresh clouds, fresh sun, bright sun rising. Or you keep your mind like an innocent child, like a 3 years old child. Child does not have uh, expectation, does not think about past, does not think about future. All he or she wants to do is play, play and play. The child is beautiful and pure mind, innocent mind, right? So we could learn something from the child, and we should go back to the original mind. We should become more like a child, innocent and pure mind, you see. And being with the small children, playing is great healing for us. These days, people in the West talk about therapy, this therapy, that. I think being with children, little kids, was very therapeutic because you play, and we adults don't want to play, right? And which is kind of shame. And you should play if you are able to play. If you have a friend and grandchildren or a nephew, great nephew, niece, play with it, and they will appreciate so much. And also a nice way to help them, right? So it's a double benefit, both ways benefiting. So you keep your mind like a child mind. And there are many examples of the pure mind in the Mahamudra teaching. Talk about you keep your mind like a space, and keep your mind like empty space. Keep your mind like clouds. Keep your mind as this bright sunshine. Keep your mind as water, pure water, and so on and so forth. And keep your mind is like cotton wool, soft and no rigidity, you know. That same day, chaji chimbo na song you the same the lurch and then same with the nima shaw and she chores. And it can so that same day also same day pe mambo ya ta mambo shu mi. Ta na ge bu chun jo ki xia so bu chun jo lo sum shi je de bu zu zhe ze ma de de sam le yo ma ro. And she sitting go so that then she Kongro da ngaja ji kobe na ji simni lung la ni ji karsho da ta do so that then xianba xiango de da ji yor wa de yong mo wa zhe ze ma de ye mo o de jin da inji ge je la innocence lo da ngang zu ba ge la da sim de ji bu chun ju sam lo na yin so da de ji ne sim de le jin sim ya wo ji 단데네고 란다가란데 어두지네 검조야래 검조라나 and that so you keep your mind in the present moment, and then from that state we now visualize medicine Buddha in front of us. From that state if we can keep our mind in the present moment, then we can do all kinds of meditation, sutra meditation, lamrim meditation, Tantra meditation, healing practices. Everything is possible because your mind is innocent, pure, and fresh, right? If your mind has all kinds of concerns and worries and disturbed and so on and so forth, then your mind is already kind of polluted, right? This is what we call samsaric mind. So then it's hard to visualize. You're trying to visualize something, and then the mind is letting it gone here and gone there. And then you're trying to re-visualize, restart again, trying to resume. It's harder to do. So it's important to keep the mind as pure as much as possible. Then we can visualize your mind move on into the next step, right? So I would like you to now do the visualization. Visualize in front of you, not very far from you. Visualize Bhagwan, medicine Buddha, lapis lazuli light, and blue colored, one face, two arms, wearing beautiful robes, burgundy red and yellow robes, and one page, 2 arms. Right hand, he's holding aurora plant with leaf and flower and fruit, with the mudra of giving and giving or boon granting mudra. Left hand, he's holding a bowl with nectar inside. So that chala yebegitene sanjin melandun gom roa gom jongana the fit ngats shiraya tombo mawo the toba yarang toba bego kansam yoro digi something lundel and fit ngats the pamana the edin to the sanjin mela kumdo mum shu tin shachi chan chai yebetene shin arura metoda all of that the lomada then he can do 아우라 근데 뭐지 이제 초진이 차자 차제나 차연배 농세나 두즈가고 제 체면치기 두즈 semdu shuyi unikola chugu na sunchen shuyi mebanarana. So please visualize medicine Buddha lapis lazuli light in front of us. And now, after you establish the visualization of Medicine Buddha in front of you, and then I would like to ask you to visualize a light emanating from Medicine Buddha. This time, light emanating from Medicine Buddha's hand, and on both hands, light emanating from his hand. Right hand, he's holding Aurora plant, and light emanating from that, and from that emanating 5 colors of light: white, yellow, red, blue, and green. 5 colors of light emanating from the herbs. Aurora plant. Aurora plant is one of the most very important medicine according to Ayurvedic and Tibetan medicine. There are 3 important herbs. Well, all the herbs are important, but these 3 medicines are called the king of medicine, a Tibetan word: Arura, Parura, and Churura. And Tripalas in Sanskrit. Tri means 3. Pala is the fruit. Tripala. And these fruits grows in the foothills of Himalayas, like Nepal and Bhutan and many other parts of it, along the foothills of Himalayas. And Arura is also, I think, is known as the Indian gooseberry, if I'm not wrong. And so it has so many properties and benefits: cleaning your blood and antioxidants and boosting your immune system and purifying toxins in the body, and gives you fresh, prana, gives you easier to breathe. And so this medicine will be probably very good for the COVID, and so on and so forth. And so imagine 5 colors of light emanating from the herb, and coming, light emanating, dissolving into your crown, throat, heart, navel, and secret chakra. So, as I said, 5 colors of light, right, emanating from the hand of the Medicine Buddha, from the Aurora plant. So, white light goes to the crown, red light dissolve into the throat, blue light dissolve into the heart, yellow light dissolve into the navel, and green light dissolve down to the secret chakra. Okay, so now that so I like to say a few words in Tibetan. So that Sanje Mela Cha Yewe Shing Kaza Me Arura Zen Yorwa. Arura de that Ming Jabure, Arura Che, and then Jurura Che, Parura Men Sumji. Angado, Pebe Mena, Tachi, Ketachi, Men Sudan, Membatara, Chance of Chingire, Nation Mare. Then the Chesapeake is that's Lojoma Jagas, Nepal, then Ruyuda, Peyuda, Kashmir, Kajilumba, the Himalaya region, China, Chintu, and the Jayore, or to Jamachinjumala, Nepal, Mayan, the Peyune Mayan, Arura, just such a thing, China, so less. She gets 2, the Kashindo, there's 2 doing the savage, too much to do. That they should not catch more and then to send that daily did the men the Nubashi or that on the Chala and Arun simplicity was a Cabo Mabo Humbo or Sebo Jungle, Nat, Cabo the Jewelatim, Mabo the Gambalatim, and Humbo the Nigalatim, Sebo the Tewalatim, then Jungle the Mege Sanela, those Temsonia Navana, then it goes on. Koji Songji, Tuji, Yondin Trinity, Karsota, Chilap, Sanji Mele, Kusum Tuso, Yondin Trinity, Chilap, Saman around the Shuso Yambe, Mivanarana. So this time when you imagine 5 colors of light emanating from the hand of the Medicine Buddha, and imagine they dissolve into the crown, throat, and heart, and navel, and secret chakras, secret area. So this time you imagine you are receiving the blessings of the body, speech, and mind. And Yonten is knowledge, and Tinle is action. And so Kusung Tu Kusung Tu Yonten Tinle. And Tibetan Sanskrit English word is body, speech, and mind, knowledge, and action, right? Sanskrit word is rupa, and Vaka and Chitta, Guna and Karma. So the body is Vaka, and so the body is the Rupa, and the speech is Vaka, and mind is Chitta, and knowledge is Guna, and action is Karma. See, I studied Sanskrit in Sanskrit universities. Varanasi, I did my master's degree there. And so I know a little bit about Sanskrit here. And so imagine you have received now all the 5 healing energies of the body, speech, and mind, knowledge, and wisdom. Chinta, kusum tu yantin chile, karshorta chila, and nuba, ganga ngarala, tatari, tosong, chinjil lavsong, yimitine, mevanarana. All right. Okay, so usually when you sit down, when you do the sadhana, when you do the retreat, you have lots of time, right? So you could do this visualization for 10 minutes or something like that. It would be good. Today, we don't have much time, and because I would like to go through the text. Well, again, also, you should imagine nectar coming from the bowl from Medicine Buddha's left hand. Nectar coming down, descending, and nectar goes into your crown, into your throat and heart. Also, your entire body is nourished by this nectar, and so gives you strength and energy and nourishment and protections. And this always, especially this time, always. Lungze, duzi yorwa, odin duzi ka odi ma papche, ma pap. Tade pap senamando posina pap, pap nen jioni matem, jioni matem, ene sugu nang, sama ka, de shedam nala, glass na chulu wana, chulu diyan ma kayim ro, dina yinibet, dina yin kan. Then so sugu nang be top shoot peson, and then karshorta. Sanji mele chinam shiwarwa and zuwa de peme sekiji to shiwachi and puta bachaso nasada tende name la soba de tende meyo etene karshota sungju sena mendo chinam yuzonya mitene mebanaya subo gitene karshota pongbo ngayro zuda soan dushin duji number shibada zubo da kangachi karshota Zubu Kharana Pechina Gabuchi, Shusonia, Mevana Narana, Tade, Yanam de Chijal Ballen, Lomochi, Program Maja in the Desik, Namda Desik, Chido, Karashorchik, there's Mood up to get to buy Laviade, or to Shinta, Yari and Dudo, or to Shirona. and nectar emanating from the bowl and then and dissolve into you through the crown into your body. Your entire body is nourished by the nectar, beautiful nectar of medicine Buddha. We are so blessed and we're so fortunate to have this practice. We can do this practice this time, this very timing, right? And this medicine Buddha practice is good for everybody, for all of us, everybody. And it's good for anyone who does, even people who are not Buddhist and who don't call themselves Buddhist or not very religious people, they can practice and they will benefit. We do this kind of practice for dedicating for everyone. We can dedicate for others. People who are not Buddhists, who are not non-believers, we can dedicate for them. And for example, we do this practice for animals, dogs and cats and birds and all creatures. They don't know, theoretically or those words, and they don't know, but they can feel. From the dogs and animals, they can feel that when you are praying and when you're saying mantras, and they can feel the vibration and the energy. And there are many stories, especially when you have a pet dog or cat, and they know that you are practicing meditating. They will sit next to you. They become very calm themselves and happy. And not just training them. Of course, you can train animals to do anything, but just naturally they can feel the blessings. So it is very helpful for everyone. So now we start. We do the little bit mantra. Tangi tangi forget to shoot chungman di tadi manzu sanji mela gom jaya nga da shiraki da kawa samore. Nga ranzo la shi penge ya chue meje gen chue la yishi menge deba menge tu so lai manzu pa pensem je ne pa konzo la karisho ta pembe de molam jawa ina shira pengere. So ina pengere. 가이스나 코란 쪽에 섬놓기 요마라 메나이 팽그레 메나 심지 니 페샤 심지 돈도 치다 되는 힘에다 찌찌다 지 거시고 다른데 봐 둘라 소바던데 베발라 소바다다 치로 지 심지 가리나 레다드 소다바 호나나 팽그레 소소 틸이 용 치다 힘에도 소다 கொஞ்சம் 남지 다 미기 깨도 시요마라 디네 아주 너무 마다한테 제가 걸 코란저디 틸이 용도 கொஞ்சம் 가르치면 다 코란저 지 semnam soji ngo yore kanji ta she manzi she nini yungu ni marse she toya yo marwa te yungu do wadinde otan tenire danga chi dangi ale om be khanje ma be khanje ranja samunga de so Om Bekhanje, Maha Bekhanje, Ranja Samungade Soha. Om Bekhanje, Maha Bekhanje. Ranja Samungate Soha. Om Bekhanje, Maha Bekhanje, Ranja Samungate Soha. Okay, we now go to the text, to the sadhana. This time we go through the Bhagavan explanation on Bhagavan Tathagata Arhat Samyak Sambuddha Cho Gyatso Choki Lu Nambarang Ombarang Chimbi Gyalbo Abi Abhijaya Raja Abhijaya Raja. I prostrate over and go for refuge. You say it 7 times, minimum 3 times. And so Tibetan word, long word is Choja Tso, Choki, Lu number Roba, Ngomba Chimbijabo. Short word is Monchinjabo. That's Sanji the Tubade, this Sendela, and the Bagatola Choja, so Chokli number Ngomba Chimbijabos, to shoot that. Jimmy Video Diamond of Sanji Choja Tso, Choki, Lu number Roba, Ngomba Chimbijabo, Chatsalos. Dubate, Tung one changeables, one changeables, Karishos, one change that Chotamji Ching, that's Sanjero, Unji, Ishi, or that one changeable. Mind of profound Dharma wisdom, difficult to fathom. Then the Bagada, Churundoji, Chojin Chajin, Mom you do. Sony Bajiji, Rinchen Jasu, Shindy Baji, one change of Cholasans, Chuji Lodi, Dingba Kavi took, Nam Chuji Lodi, Dingba Kavi took, Namda Chuji Ying, Namda Chuji Lodi, Dingba Kavi took, Namda Chuji Yingla, Ronzi, Chijamalu, Mosum Zibobo, one change of Hotela, Chasalos, Chuji Lodi, Dingba Kavi took. So here, the English translation here, the mind of profound Dharma wisdom is difficult to fathom. So, so mind of profound Dharma wisdom. Generally speaking, mind is very difficult to understand, right? Generally speaking. And mind, how do we know the mind? Mind has no beginning, mind has no end. Mind is most difficult to understand because in Western science, they don't understand mind. They don't talk about mind. And well, there are Western philosophers who talk about mind. A lot of philosophers, they talk about mind, psychology, and so on and so forth, like Jung and Freud, and so on and so forth, Kantian, and so on and so on. Psychology, Western psychology, right? They are talking mind, but not the same way the way we Buddhists talk about mind, the definition of mind, you know. And of course they don't understand or don't believe reincarnation. I'm not saying everybody. A lot of people, Western philosophers, psychologists, they do believe reincarnation as well. So things are changing as well. But generally speaking, and this, you know, mind and reincarnation is very complicated, you see. And so I don't need to talk about that. Everybody, you people know. So mind is a profound phenomenon. And especially mind of profound Dharma wisdom is even more difficult. Chuji lodu tingba kawe tuks. Namda chuji yingli runs chuji lodus. Chidang loss at the seminar. Semgi ranginde, semgi chinida, semgi neda de hiala, kale kabure, le lau yomare. And then Logyong Lomombo Logyonchi, Gomja, Nyamlenchi, then Chachichamo to the Gom, Tumbani, so Gom, any Chama, so Chama Logyonchi, Uma Logyonchi, and then Chachichamo Logyonchi, Tuni Dawa, Chachis, then Kalekala Kalejin, and Samanis Shiro, and they got Gomja, and Gomja, and then Yamnuchi Sagra, she might send into the cover. In the internet. Labo the chug ludus, churching sim, chug in Nezushing, Tumani, Tawadam, Simjiro, Tunito, Lodish, Tabure, Casa Tabure, Stakabur, Church Ludu, Tingbaka took, then this Sanjin Munchin Javadi, then Church Ludu, Tachimba, Ting Baba, Ting Sabota, Cabo, Pak Passet, Pak Casing. Kalekabosugora, Pakas, Pak Church, Pak said, Yorwa, Pak said, Jabal, seeing Tungasing, or the Pak said, dinner, Pak says, that Pak Kavi Tooks, Juju in Bakavi Tooks. So, Tibetan word is church is Dharma, phenomena, Lodu is wisdom, Pak means measurement, and Kawa means difficult to measure, difficult to understand. The mind, especially mind of wisdom of Dharma. But this Buddha, Munchin Gyalpo, all knower, this Buddha is accomplished everything. He is omniscient. He knows everything. Chuji lo tingpa kawet. Namda chuji ing runs it. Namda chuji. He enjoys and he experiences. He's the on chuji ing, which dharmadhatu, shunyata, and emptiness. And so in English translation here, mind of profound dharma wisdom difficult to fathom. See, fathom, right? Pakpa is Tibetan word, measurement of fathom. Like how many, on the old days in English you say fathom, right? And nowadays you have meters and your yard and centimeters and inches and so on and so forth. So fathom, right? How many fathom? And Tibetan word, pakpa. Sporting into the pure sphere of truth. So this is talking about pure sphere of truth. What it means? Talking about dharmata, shunyata, dharmakaya, same nature. One who sees all knowledge object directly. I posted that one thing. So, namda chuji English or ronzi chi shijamana musum si bobo. One change what the la chas. Shijamana musum si bobo. Ta shija chua tamji musum si middle labana landi curura or shavana yijins. That's the yours. Chua tamji. What do you say? In English, I will say, I will translate how we say in Tibetan. Lagwe Nala means in your hand. You put in the middle of your hand, you put arura, okay, or churura, one of those medicine fruit I was explained before. So if you put arura in the middle of your arm and the middle of your palm, you can see, unless you are blind. And even blind person can feel, right? You can see. Just like that, the Buddha can see all phenomena, every single phenomena, molecules, particles, atoms, and bacteria, whatever, everything. There's nothing that Buddha doesn't know. That's what we call Munchin Gyalpo, all knower, omniscient, Kunchin Yishe. Okay, Kunchin Yishe. So the Buddha knows everything. Okay, this is why we call enlightened one. Okay, enlightened, perfectly enlightened. Samma Sambuddha in Sanskrit. Arahat, Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddha. Samma Sambuddha. So enlightenment, Western term enlightenment is sort of very vague, you know. What is enlightenment? You know, we don't know. One guy says, I just walked and sat on a bench, and all of a sudden I realized, hey, I'm enlightened. What are you talking about? And what's your definition of enlightened? We don't know what he's talking about. And maybe he's enlightened. We don't know. Okay? And it sounds like sort of very simple, right? And in Tibetan Buddhism, not that simple. To become enlightened, you have to practice for years and years. And in lifetimes, you have to go to the 10 bodhisattva bhumis, so on and so forth. Enlightened. When we say enlightened in Tibetan Buddhism, means you become Buddha. Okay? So this is why some people don't want to be Buddhist, because it's so difficult to become enlightened, you know. And you don't just suddenly become enlightened sitting on a couch or sitting on a bench, park bench, and anyway, and so here I'm talking about Munchin Gyalpo. You know, in Munchin Gyalpo, knowing all phenomena. I posted to that Munchin Gyalpo. Okay, that Sangye is then and the get all Sangye said, she just get enlightenment. So, enlightenment said the level you chick do. Then you meeting the Najin do Chilo Shogan or Jilla. Cham Chi in a Pang Shikasa, the Medog Numra is the Gigi Kawa and Chick, Kuja Chigon test Devins, and then I told you about the Sangye Sashas, Sudo, or then the Sangye Sansudo, or then Sangye in the Menakashi. That Sangye is Sanji Suma in enlightened, some non level. That Jishi Sansu, that the Karin Mata, Jero, and the Hokoma. Sangye so that's Sangye, in the Sangye level of Kavayo. Tini in a month of Gachin Ramasum Sosa by Mandua, or Tindi, that thing, Chobam Shes, she Mangushia Manduya, Shena Chasmundo, Shena Yabundo, Otosilita, Misuji Langayan, the Kashote, Jundu in the May. So I'm not trying to put down anybody or anyone, and I'm not judging anybody here. I'm not trying to, how should I say, judge somebody, but I'm telling the truth, and I'm telling what I heard, what I have seen. I'm talking about from Buddhist point of view, and everybody have their own definition of enlightenment. Whatever they want to think about, believe or not believing, follow, don't follow, it's up to them. Of course, I appreciate that. We live in a free society, democratic society. We have freedom thinking, we have freedom expression, and we have freedom of our rights. We are very, very, very fortunate. I make all collection of offerings actually arranged and emanated through force of mantra, samadhi, aspiration, confess all downfalls, unwholesome actions, rejoice and virtues, request and beseech and dedicate virtues such as these to great enlightenment. So now we make offering. We do the 7 limb practice. 7 limb practice. 2 Ngonjin Jabo all know this particular Buddha. Mangushu Bende Yila Dumbare, Churundoji, that did it. Yila Dumbadita, and Rota Sonata, Churu, Dojin, Chojin Chajin, Mona, you do Tony, then change your single, one change over the chancellor, Chujilo, that day, you know, Mushons, that day, Yila Dumbade, Ali Shumo, you know, Dumbada Chinjamara. Okay, good. So now it explains the quality of this particular Buddha right here. Through the force of hearing the conqueror's name, expressing it, remembering, prostrating and offering. For all sentient beings, such as ourselves. And so by power of hearing this Buddha's name, and remembering him, making prostrations, offerings, and then may the distracted be free of malice, and and rich in goods. Okay, so then Yingnam Nursem Majin so changes that. So those people who are a mind is distracted. Tibetan word is sim yingma. Ying means ying has several meanings or different kind of ying. This one is ying namin. Okay, there's 2 kinds of ying. This is ying shu said the ying said yoro them and mare yande. Forget them. Namin says sembe yi kasakal and roya yoro. So here we talk about distracted mind, free of malices, and so mind is a lot of times distracted on a different ways, strong way or mild way, a small way, and one of the mild kind of way is when you meditate, your mind is experiencing distraction or what we call normally wandering mind, right? You're here, you're trying to visualize medicine Buddha, or you do basic Buddhist meditation like mindfulness of breathing, whatever, and then suddenly your mind is gone. Suddenly you're thinking something, and something like food, even simple things like, oh, I want to eat ice cream, I want to eat chocolate, I want to drink, I want go for a walk, and I'm going to go meet my friends, hang out with my friends, something like that. Just suddenly, just out of the blue, happening. Right? That's Sim said. Sim said condition. Should I say, Ben a gomja to Kandan and Deva? You can Tojago seminar Toja and Jig. Danga ice cream jig in that, chocolate jig in this. Now, Tobuji, Tilmadami, Tobut Dugan doing, still someone top of shy on the wall. Oh, Danga Kalekas, Namutana Ni Okumos. That's some Ramade shy. But indeed, there are no means. Peggy Gomja no good about it, no means. Ingnams, same meetings. But the leaders are same English and same no same meetings or and sometimes same in control like in the Yungurwa. Takar and Dajashin of the Musukare, yeah, in the Yungurwa. So changes. So rich and good, which means so you will be able to find the remedy and for the distracted mind right away. And if you pray to medicine Buddha, so let's say when your mind starts wandering, then you think, what do I do now? My mind, I can't meditate. So then by the power and blessing of medicine Buddha, and you get the idea, it's okay, I should just focus my mind on the breath for a while, for a few minutes. Count, breathe, right? Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out for 21 times. Then my mind stop wandering. Okay. Or I just keep saying the mantra of medicine Buddha. That will help you reduce your mind from distracted. Or you can meditate on suffering of sentient beings, suffering of the world, okay? And right now, how many people are sick? How many people are dying? And think about that. Then you think, how can my mind wandering? I should not. I should focus my mind. I should discipline myself, okay? Meditate on that. Or you will then get those kinds of, what do you call the remedies. That, that they same yin until a nimbo so the nimbo was the nimbo to his yorwa. That the nimbo said the Karishursen, same yin and same main tashi jawar, tashi nigre, tashi yungre. That Sanji Mela Sota by the Tigi China within it, tashi the Lansa yungre, Karishanata, Seminal and Ninjung J. Danga the same ing do Takanasi, same ing your woman do, than Pena, Dungagun, Roa, and then Zambul and Memonagi or Shiga, Tunguya, and then the same the Casakal in the Canisio. So they, Macho Jia, Gom, the Ria, Sanji Mela Gom, Gomdija, Kokoya, whatever Katani, same in the Chopman, the Inju Mandu something, some of corn, and the same thing, Yabujan, Gomjala, Kashu, Tap and do you. Then Majona, and those ya ma tang ya ma da yungop jo yungop to come to that to send ta kashota di nimbo de ragri. So you will find the solutions, and that is the meaning here. Rich in goods. Okay, may those on bad paths to lower realms attain the 10 virtues, or that the Ngesung Langshu. So those sentient beings who are in the lower realms, born in lower realms, or sentient beings who are, even though you are in the human realm, you have a human life, but your behavior is like being in the lower realms. See? We are human beings, but a lot of human beings, they don't act like human beings. They do things, self-destructive things. They harm others. So they become like a demigod. They become like hungry ghosts. They become like hell beings. So they're acting like ridiculous and non-virtuous things. They do non-virtuous actions. Therefore, they're creating unwholesome karmas. So then when you pray to medicine Buddha, you will also get the insight and to not to do those negative actions, and instead creating virtues, positive mind, 10 virtues. 미기 깨왔더니 미 룰라니 간다 미르와 이나 잠불은 미 망보여 미 카셰 미 망보지를 밀토이나 주보 미기 주보체 셈테 네베 냐송을 제딩이 그래서 따데 년도 전도가 심나시 Lensing Kuba or the Nyawalki thing is to do Nyawalking the same like Dunga, huge. And Yidak Sem Yidal Jedavana Yichin and Karshota, Semia Junamang, Semnal Bay, Nalki Gui, Nalki Man, Kasiti, the nation Sem Yidak Sem de Tuchi, Tuchi, Nason Lam, Sugar Nahi, Javara, Jende or Ottendi. But Lama in Jevana, Tado, Dasimji, any Nasimji, or to Chigaro. So it's like you, even though you got a human body, but your mind is like a demigod. You see, and it's so greedy, right? There's so many people. There's some people are so rich, right? And they're so greedy. They want more, more, more. They don't know why. And they're so corrupted, so much corruptions. And then they embrace, very embracing for them, for their families, and disaster. And then a lot of times they end up, it costs their lives due to their greed and so on. So anyway, so the bottom line is you pray to medicine Bara, you find the virtues, and you don't have to be you don't have to have a mind like being in the lower realms. May those controlled by others gain perfect independence. Jona Ron Pusum Tos, that Bageto of Yawan Jona Ron Pusum Tos, Sondoa, Yawan Jurnam, or Yawan Jona Sata, Bella Mitsindilla, Mi Joalana, and Tineji, around one member, social around membership. Mikaja, Teos, and the Bageto, Teos, Indicala, slaves, and that Yobujin, Mizukora Yobujan, the slaves, the Nema Yorba. And Zamble Casacala slaves in Cheo singing, and someone such someone Yoro Nema. The Sa Yoreta, Cheo Yore, Karishu is the Sam and meet you to the Tunta Timumber company, soda than a legachin, and Peshata scheme of the Ragumo Lacha. That's Heoroa, Cheo is energy. Zawant and Cheo English, Yoma Taina Big Marvel Lumba to Saina. So here we are talking about may those controlled by others gain perfect independence. What it means is in like you have no control of your life, you have no freedom of your life. In the old days we have slaves all over the world, right? And rich people, powerful kings, and dictators, and landlords, and armies, people, and so on and so on. You have millions of people are slaves everywhere, and people are used as animals and slaves. And today we don't have slaves, and officially, and most countries they have law you cannot have slaves, but so many people work in a minimum wage or a very little wage, or minimum wage. It depends on the wage, right? What is minimum? What is maximum? Don't know. And, if you work in certain countries, you make like 100 rupees a day, or maybe 300 rupees a day. That's like $3, $4, $5 a day, right? And or maybe I don't know how many UMs and whatever, and you work so hard and just for enough or not even enough food for shelter and just for barely surviving. You work in companies and factories, and you had these unbelievable stories, so many people. And I don't want to talk about the name of the countries. So, and people get sick, cancer and disease, and nerve damages and brain damages, pollutions, chemical, dealing with working all this stuff. And once you're in a factory working there, you can't go back to the village, go back to the countryside, because you're stuck. And what do? Go back to the villages. There's no work, right? And now this time, for example, COVID time, and so many people are sent back to the villages, because big cities you have so COVID, and you go back to the village, then you go back with then you spread the COVID to your village, and it's a disaster, so sad. And then what do you do in the village? There's no work, and you haven't worked in the village, not you haven't been a farmer for so many years. Some of these young people sent to the village, to the cities, and flock into cities looking for a job, and then they're stuck in the factories working, and then now go back to the village. And so basically, wherever you go, you are slaves, right? And and it is slaves, and you're working in the factories. So you have no control, you have no freedom, and slave of capitalism, slave of communism, and slave of communism or slave of capitalism, slave of big corporations, multi-million-dollar corporations, and so you have no freedom of movement, freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of expressions. What do you call it? Yeah, you can't just say, I want to go home now, or give me some break, holiday, Some people do get, but anyway, so it's a very difficult situation, right? So here we're talking about have some freedom, have some power and choice, and get some better position, better job, healthy job, working in a healthy environment, and so on and so forth. So you pray to medicine Buddha, and they could have some freedom, personal independence, and rights, and so on and so forth. A lot of people are oppressed, and either way, capitalism, communism, but doesn't matter, or feudalism, and it still goes on everywhere. And so people need their justice and freedom. So we pray to Medicine Buddha. When you pray to Medicine Buddha, you can receive some protection, blessings. This is very important. Shugumar Chingy Marwa, Gendichina, Tanji Shuima, Chayos and Tisan, Chayos Yomata, Sodana Legajindan, Laja Chinju, Kawaina, something really on the moving, or the Nichin Kabushi, Lochinju, Shirani, or Didin Nazana, Sodana Legaja, she would nani, Tindichini, and Kungsing that in the Yomarawa, Kungsing, Yomarawa, or the Nichin Chirakan, Kalakamoria, the names and Sanji Mela, Soata Baina, and all have long life. Hear the name of names and be virtues. And when we pass away from this life, may we born from the lotus in the Buddha field, qualities complete, become vessel for transmission of the teachings and conquerors such as Monchin Jalpo, and cause them delight to Bhagavan, Tathagata, Arate, Samyak, Sambuddha. Okay, now we go to the next one. Medicine Buddha, Lapis Lazuli light. And okay, before we go through, now I say a few words in Tibetan. Yewang Junam, Rawa, Posum Chosh, Kunja, Tseling, Senju Gejuji, that's Tangma, and the Tsering, Nazamiwan. Or Kunja Tsering. Chain to Geju, that's Sanji Mele, the Munjinja would say, Tabatam Jenny, similar give a law. Chuchimo Jungo, you want, similar base, similar give a law, me give a law, me want. Then the Shimbuju, Sanji, Shing, Bemolage, Yonendo. Munjinja Bolaso, Janam, Kalun, Nurging, Niba Jeju, that delay. Mother Majota, Tongrua, not to Tonga Kabla, and then the Monjinja was Shingamdela, Meadow Bemijil, Jigres water. Then Java shows Molamjota, Monjinja Bolaso, Janam Jis, Kalun Nurging, Nipa Jeju, that Java, Lamsa, Sanje, Monjinja wood, and a song to, or Shenje, song to. Any church you, not that in Shiraka was watching Junbo, Maimba, jokes and Jobun, Sanji combat to race. So once when we leave this body in this life, at the end of the life. And when we go through the, what do you call that, death and dying, and die as a natural cause and the old age, and then this is a dignifying way of dying, right? And then you pray to Medicine Buddha, and you could do Medicine Buddha Poa practice. So I didn't talk about Medicine Buddha Poa practice, I think, before. So next week, excuse me, next Sunday, I will teach Medicine Buddha Poa practice, okay? And then at the very end, I won't teach Poa. I will teach a little bit more Medicine Buddha practice. So according to Tibetan custom, you don't teach the Poa, the very last teaching. And next Sunday, I will teach Poa, and the Sunday after that, I will teach the final conclusion. I teach a little bit more healing modalities. So next Sunday will be Poa practice. Okay, so I will explain more about Poa. What is Poa? Okay, some of you don't know what the word Poa is. And Poa is a Tibetan word. In English, it's called transferring your consciousness to the pure land, to the Buddha land. That's called Poa. Kang ye dunde jema zat nimala dine sanji melege Poa ko jinga desi shugi that de yan tamaderi mare tamaderi manzu pewe lusola chulame chusun dugala tamadele Poa song deni shashana temdin digima temdil nuguyo deni indan Ndajima Sandila Zanimalangi Poashu, Tishuma Zanimachilo, Tilaya, Sanimele Kota, Jugduni, Tikshu in the Tare, that's Sanimelico. That's our Sandini, Lojung Tree, that's our Lojung, Dana, Lojung Mongoyo, the Lojung Jackson, and Tempting, and Lojung Damani Jayor. That judge should to Yayomari, and Shugayamari, in the Dinane, Lojung. Sigjema, Lojung Tunduma, that Lojung Watina Nesam, Lojung Sonja Colos in Jore, Sonja Colo, what the thing is, Marti is, Samudu. So next Sunday, I will teach Poa practice. Poa is transferring your consciousness. So what it means, when I die, or you die, or anyone who die, you have to transfer your consciousness to Buddha land, to pure land. This is the right thing to do. We must do, should do. We must do, we should do, we must do. Okay? And we can do so. And if you truly believe, you can do. You can transfer your consciousness to Buddha land. You eject your consciousness to pure land. I will teach that. Then Sunday after that, I will do the closure of the Medicine Buddha. And then after that, I will teach Lojong. I was going to teach 21 Taras, but I'm going to postpone for a while. And 21 Tara teachings, according to Mahasiddha Surya Gupta, probably start later. So then I will teach Lojong. We have many different kind of Lojong teachings. Lojong is Tibetan word, which means thought transformation and purification of mind, especially all the adverse conditions transferring into the path of enlightenment. Lojong, mind. Literally, Lojong means mind training. Okay, mind training. But training is a funny word a little bit. Well, here we are meditating. What are we training? And it's not very training. It's not very relaxing mind, right? And so transferring consciousness. Okay, so I will probably teach. There are many different Lojong texts. 8 verses of Lojong, 7 verses. And then there's one particular one called Wheel of Sharp Weapons. Okay, Lojong text composed by Rahula Gupta, I think. Rahula, and I think I will translate that. I teach that there is a translation, English translation, and you can get that. We can provide that for you, and the translation. We give you suggestions where to get the book, and so that Lojong that jima derwa Lojong tree Lojong sonje kolo chabe na toge peche yo inji tol jusha yo ne chanando chabe mena nge pa email to 전적으로 basically Pugi or to Sharona to Jiche. So I will leave it here now. We have time for question and answer. If you have, I'm sure you have questions. If you have questions about medicine Buddha practice, healing practice, or even Lojong practice, if you want to know more about something about Lojong as a kind of preliminary, and you're most welcome. Yes, go ahead.
Still waiting.
Yeah.
Still waiting.
Oh, waiting for questions.
Waiting for questions.
Okay.
Wendy Bauman asks, when we visualize the nectar from the bowl entering our crown, is the nectar blue or white?
Nectar that is coming down from the bowl, it usually white. Yeah.
Is there a significance to it being white as opposed to any
Well,
other color?
white color is color of purity, and white is color of peace. And yeah, so we need purity, purify our body, mind, and we need deep peace at this moment. Peace and joy, right?
Yeah, good. Amanda Buckley asks, thanks for these great teachings in these hard times. Could we know a bit more about the Arura plant? Is it possible for us to grow this plant? Could we buy the seeds online?
Arura plant, I'm not sure you can plant them. Well, the thing is, it has to be right climate. So in Australia, most part of Australia is very hot, and maybe only place you could grow in the Blue Mountains, or maybe in Tasmania, somewhere in the mountains. But even then, Australia is very dry, very hot, so it's probably difficult. The other problem or issue is customs. Australia has a very strict custom and quarantine and this and that. So I don't know. I would ask. I would suggest Amanda should contact Ken Alexander. She knows Ken. He's a herbalist. And Ken also has a friend, a Tibetan lady doctor in Sydney, and she will probably tell you. And but you can actually buy haritika from Indian shops, herbal shops. It's called haritika, okay? And or you have to say another word, is mero balan. So it's Arura, the same, there's three different names, haritika, mero balan, and Arura. If you say Arura, they probably won't know. In India, they use the term mero balan or haritika. And then there is also powder herb you can buy Indian stores. It's called Mahasudarshan. Mahasudarshan is powder made with Arura, perhaps Churura and Barura also. Haritika, Bibitika, and I forgot the third word. Haritika is Arura, Bibitika is Churura, and then something else. And you can buy powder in a container. And Mahasudarshan is supposedly good for malaria, overcoming malaria problems, and cleaning your blood and so forth. And I was told, I'm only telling you, I was told, you take Mahasudarshan 2 weeks, then before you travel to the area where there's malaria, and then when you come back, take the Mahasudha darshan for 2 weeks, and then it will help you to clean the blood. So my guess is, or I was told, what happened, you take the Mahasudha darshan for 2 weeks, then you go the area. What happens in your blood, it changes, and the mosquito most likely doesn't like the smell of your body or the blood, and then they don't bother biting you. So this sounds very cool.
Sounds like we should take here for mosquitoes and no see them.
Yeah, well, yeah, we have them, but we don't have malaria here, right?
No, we don't have malaria. Nice to not get bitten.
Yeah, this year we got more mosquitoes,
Yeah.
but not horrendous problems. Like if you go to Ontario, there will be millions of them. Northern Ontario, lots of mosquitoes.
Right.
Moses.
Oh, you was saying that Tripula is a 3-herb mix with Marubalan in it.
That's right.
And Teresa Holter asked, do you need to be careful in exchanging self for others in Lojong practice?
You have to be careful.
You have to be careful when you're taking on too much,
Right.
when you're doing exchanging self with others.
Yeah, sure. Anything is too much, right?
Mhm.
You don't want to be too extreme, and you have to have balanced approach and balanced mind, good motivation, and good motivation is very important, and then balance and your mind, and don't do too much, and but generally speaking, we in Tibetan Buddhism we don't use the word "don't do too much Dharma practice." People laugh when you say that, and what do you mean don't do too much Dharma practice? Dharma practice is always good, but then some people are not very mentally not so. How should I say? They're not sort of stable, and then they do so much excessiveness and also a little twisted a little bit, and the motivation is not so clear. Then it can be a little bit problematic. Let's put that way.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Susan Garmson says, are you well, Rinpoche?
Well, you look at me. Do I look well? 72 plus.
Plus.
Thank you for asking me that question. Thank you. I wish you all the best. I hope you're well. I know you a long, long time ago, and I believe you're still in Vancouver Island. So I pray for you. Thanks for asking me.
So Mickey from England asks, can you go into a little bit of detail on the beings of the 6 realms, and what type of heinous crime would it take in order to incarnate into one of those realms as opposed to just obstacles in this life?
That's a very good question. Thank you. So 6 realms, there are what we call 3 higher realms, human realm, demigod realm, and the God realm. There are higher realms. And the lower realms are animal realm, hungry ghost realm, and the hell realm. Okay, so so the question is, what kind of a crime or unwholesome karma you have to create in order to go down to the lower realms?
Mm-hmm. Or the higher realms, as opposed to just being born in this realm with the obstacles that might create those same kind of situations. Like, say, if you were right now, if you're born Beirut or Somalia or something, right? It'd be an obstacle for you, right? As opposed to
of course. Yeah, well, if you're born in, say, right now, if you're in North Korea, and it's a big problem because you have this dictator and monsters, and you have no freedom. You never even hear about spirituality, and you don't know what you're missing in your life. And they're all brainwashed, everything, and then you are in born area somewhere, people constantly fighting, like Yemen or somewhere, right, or Somalia or somewhere in the war zone, and everybody's suffering and casualties of war and malnutrition and disease. On top of that, now the COVID is spreading. So it is a very unfortunate thing. So if you are born in these places, that means you did some kind of unwholesome karma that we have created in the past lives, and so that's just how it is, right? Right? I'm not saying that's your fault and blaming. I don't blame. When we talk about karma, some people think karma is like when you say that's your karma or my karma, some kind of blame mind. No, you don't blame. That's just situation where you are, right? And so to be born in lowest realm, you have to create some bad karma. You have murdering and genocide, killing lots of people, and like some of the people, they mercenaries, whatever, and dictators, they just wipe them out. People kill them and destroy them, destroy environment, this and that. So those are the heinous crimes of bad karma. And but unfortunately that happens. People do that sort of thing, and yeah.
Mm.
Does that answer the question?
I think so.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. More questions, please.
So if you have any question about medicine Buddha practice, you're most welcome. Or meditation in general, you're most welcome. And whatever. Well, then I have a question. Someone could tell me, answer my question. So I've been teaching medicine Buddha for a while, number of weeks, and I want to know, how do you feel, or how much you feel benefited? I'm sure you are benefited. That's why you're here, and I'd like to have some little bit of feedback from you, please.
Okay. Amanda says, yes, it has been a very helpful practice, something we can do when the news is very bad, very peaceful.
When the news is bad, it makes you feel peaceful?
Well, by doing medicine Buddha when the news is bad, you transform the news from bad, and then you can just not get caught up in the anxiety, is what I think she's saying. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Tsering says, it's wonderful, Rinpoche. I have the kids reciting them when we go for walks in the woods.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Very good. Thank you. So yeah, that's very good. Say thank you. Tashi to tuji chesering la anishirabe the kasu charangi individual feedback so that ishira. Thank you you telling me when you go for walk with kids reciting mantra, medicine Buddha. This is our Tibetan way. It's very healing, good for us. So there's this point. I think we are also the last couple months. See, like June, July, people feel a little bit relieved in Canada and Australia and elsewhere. And but now it's I can feel the anxiety because they're talking about kids going back to school. Well, kids has to go back to school many ways. They need education, and they also need them, something to focus, right? But at the same time, it's a very dilemma, right? So what do you do? Kids might get sick, then parents and the grandparents get sick. So there's anxiety, a lot of anxiety, and also a second outbreak or whatever, right? And there are lots of people doing partying and summertime and drinking and partying, and then people lost this concept of social distancing when you're drunk. And this is the problem. And now, in September, October, November, the people are very worried. So, so what I want to do, I like to suggest that we when you feel there's anxiety in you and you meditate, I'd like to ask you to meditate, practice mindfulness breathing, basic Buddhist meditation, and then you do medicine Buddha practice, mantras, and that will help you to calm down your mind and less anxiety. You also pray for others, dedicate your mantras, practice for others. That's very helpful. And then I will teach Lojong. So when things go bad, and we do Lojong practice, Lojong helps us help other people as well. So we have to kind of prepare. So what I'm thinking, in my view, is that like in February, March, we don't know what is this virus or what is it's going to do, what's happening. And so now we know more about the virus, and there's lots of information, and governments and health departments, we are kind of know what to do, social distancing, wearing masks, so on. I think we are better than before, and so trying to make sure you don't get sick, and also don't spread the virus for others. So this is very important. And here in our temple here, we still don't have gatherings. We don't do group meditations, and we're closed, still stay as it is, because we cannot afford anyone getting sick from the temple. And then, we don't want to do that, and we close the temple for now. And instead, we do Zoom. I'll teach more in Zoom and YouTube and so forth. Thank you very much. And also, as you all know, we have a Lamrim retreat starting, Zoom Lamrim retreat starting on November 29 to December 13. This Lamrim retreat is very important. We're going to do 4 sessions. I will teach twice a day. I will lead meditation. And then I ask Ben Christian from Australia to lead meditation in Australia. And I ask also Charlie Bryan. He's an excellent Dharma teacher and a friend of mine. He lives in Thunder Bay, Ontario. Will lead, and then I'll ask someone else to lead meditation. And this Lamrim text is called Delam, and composed by first Panchen Lama Losang Chuji Yeltsin, and is a wonderful Lamrim text. Okay,
Wonderful.
good. All right.
So many people are saying thank you. It's been such a benefit for them.
Right.
It's helped relieve some of their anxiety and their suffering.
Right.
And in the workplace, at home, it's really making a big difference for them.
Great. Okay, good. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you very much, and see you next Sunday. I will talk about Poa practice, and you can do Poa practice for other people who are dying and passed away, and so forth. Thank you so much. Take care. All the best.